I wanted to make my own Game Boy. It had to be cheap and compact. So I ordered all the parts one needed, and 3 weeks later they arrived. I got this Uniprint, this piezo beeper, this screen, these buttons, these LEDs, these resistors, this microcontroller, this battery charger, this battery, and some plastic. All in all, it cost me $15, while the battery was almost half of that. I planned the design and tested all the parts. All parts worked perfectly. Now I had to find a way to control all 8 buttons with a limited number of pins. I came up with a digital to analog converter. When I power this button and press it, the power comes out. Same for this basic circuit. For 2 buttons, I need 2 pins, which conflicts with my limited amount of pins. By using a digital to analog converter, I can control my 4 buttons with only 1 analog pin. This is my calculation. I derive the given formulas and connect them. The value I want to calculate is UB. My final circuit looks like this. If you use the previous formula, you get this for 1 button. Here we press buttons 1 and 2. For each combination of buttons, we get a different ratio. I then read these ratios and know which buttons were pressed. I built 2 of these circuits to control all 8 buttons. My resistor R here is 1000 ohms. You can see the buttons in action. Later I will show you the values. After building the whole circuit, everything was ready for soldering. I planned the connections on the Uniprint, prepared my resistors and soldering tools. Here's a time lapse of my work. After 6 hours, it looked like this. The backside looks terrible, but I think it's okay for my first soldering project. Here you can see the first time I powered it up, and it was very satisfying when it worked on the first try. Everything worked as expected. But I wasn't done yet. I wanted to design the perfect case. So I started measuring everything. Then I started designing my case in C80 Fusion 360. I printed the first prototype. And I designed the next prototype. After designing the second, I printed the case. And the buttons. It looked great. I designed some smaller parts. Did some final fine-tuning. And finally, I was able to print my final case. These are my 2 3D printers that I use for this project. This is the final design. It's very compact and very convenient. I have a USB port for coding and a USB port for charging the battery. The back is made of resin because you can see the LEDs of the charger through the case. When the light is red, the battery is not full. If it is blue, the battery is fully charged. Here you can see the output of the buttons. 0 means 0 volts, and 1023 means 5 volts. Anything in between is just a ratio of 5 volts to 1023. This is the first game I coded for the Game Boy. One cool feature is the easily accessible USB port used for coding. You only need a computer and a USB cable to easily create a new game. A big disadvantage is the small amount of memory and the screen, which is only 64 by 128 pixels and only one color per pixel. In the next time, I will design a teach pendant and solder the circuit of my robot arm on a Uniprint. I will also design a better gear reducer using the harmonic drive.